I've lived in Hot Springs, Arkansas for over 20 years now. Downtown Hot Springs is known for ghostly activity and all the pubs and the spas. Everyone seemed to have a ghost in this town. A lot of people do like to go from one haunted hotel to another, and one of the most haunted locations in historic downtown is the Majestic Hotel.
I've been a police officer for over 14 years in the central Arkansas area. I live less than 20 miles from the Majestic. I've seen its good days and its bad days, all the way up to the Majestic has closed its doors. Hot Springs, back in the early 1900s, was a paradise for gangsters. Al Capone, his gang, came down there often to the Majestic Resort and Spa. So it drew a lot of people from the good to the bad.
The Majestic has seen its share of death over the years.
Many people say that there's ghosts in there, that they've seen things happen in there. There's been guests that have left before their full night's over. They were scared to be in there because they would have such profound experiences. They didn't want their money back, they just wanted out. There's been several murders, suicides in the area, people leaving to their death from the windows. It has a pretty dark side to it with all the death and murders and things that happen there. I myself spoke to a security guard who works there, who's hired to protect this property, to make rounds. And he's told me about experiences that he's had that were so real to him that there's areas in the hotel he won't go in. And he's told his boss that, you know, if you can't be happy with that, you know, I need to find me another job.
After it was shut down, I brought a friend of mine who's a police officer, and he happens to be trained and certified in the use of a thermal imaging camera.
I'm a certified thermographer. I went to training to learn how to use thermal imaging cameras. It's a very intricate piece of equipment. It reads surface temperature, basically, and everything, whether it has an electrical current going through it or a human or animal, gives off a heat signature. The spa area is approximately 40 to 50 feet in length and probably 25 to 30 feet in width. Each side of the walls are lined with individual bathing stalls. Each individual has their own curtains. There were several tables in the middle that lined the entire length of the area. And of course, there were spaces on each side of the tables where people could walk around.
When I'm confronted with a haunted location and I have to walk in the darkness from one point to the other, there is a kind of a wrenching in your gut and a little nervousness, and you sometimes feel like there's something right at the back of your neck. All the hair stands up on your arms.
We had several instances around the spa and the hallways that we heard voices. All of a sudden you hear something whisper in your ear that you know is a voice. And you turn around, there's nothing there. There was nobody within 30 feet of me, and I literally felt a finger run up my side. I jumped in the air probably 2 or 3 feet and yelled, and Karen turned around and said, "What's wrong? What are you doing?" I said, "Something just touched me."
It just felt like somebody just rubbed my back.
When you get touched and know that there's nobody that is within arm's reach of you, and there's no way anybody living could have touched you, and it's something you physically feel going into your skin, that's just awesome to me.
Things began to happen. I was shooting, with a super night shot camera into that area to get as wide a view as I could.
Okay, is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
He was the only other person in the room, and he was over to my left holding the thermal camera so that he could see that there was no one in there.
Is there anyone here that could show themselves?
I happened to be looking in the right area with my thermal imaging camera, and suddenly this curtain, like somebody just grabbed the bottom of it and shot straight to the ceiling with it.
Oh my God, what was that?
Now, I was using my thermal imaging camera. There was nobody in that room. Nothing in there giving off a heat signature whatsoever.
Wow.
The curtain flew up into the air and paused for half a second and then came right back down just as if gravity was taking it back to the ground. And then 2 to 3 seconds later, there was a glass busting.
Oh my God.
I wasn't really sure what it was, and it shocked me, though, because it was big, and my heart was pounding so fast from that I really didn't even hear the bulb burst. There was a roaring in my ears.
I don't know. There was something. I don't know what it was. Was it a...
The first thought that ran in my head is, I need to get out of this room because there's something in here with me.
What is that like? What is that?
My friend Chad yelled at me and said, Karen, there was no one in this room. There's no one near this room.
I felt butterflies in my stomach, and I just wanted to know what caused that. That was insane. My heartbeat was just out of this world. It was beating harder than I've ever had it for. Thank God, it scared the shit out of me. But I couldn't. I was kind of locked into where I was at. So I thought, well, let's go check this out. It was less than 15 to 20 seconds, long enough for me to think, oh my God, what have I just seen? And to process this in my mind. Then I wanted to know what caused this. And I immediately went right to where that curtain was. I examined it. And when we were down there, Karen pointed out, well, here's what busted right here. And there was a light bulb laying on the floor that was never there. And that was just immediately after it occurred. Now, I had been in this area several times prior to that evening. There was no busted light bulbs in the area. I don't have an explanation for it. I checked the area where we found the light bulb busted with a thermal imaging camera. In my opinion, there was nothing man-made or there was nothing living in the area when that curtain flew up into the air.
When I finally got the chance to run the camera back and to look at the footage, of course you're elated and you're excited to capture something that you know there's no explanation for. There are 2 security guards downstairs at the time, and we were able to show them the footage, and they were amazed and told me that they wouldn't even go into that area.
In my 14 years of law enforcement, I've learned a little bit about the human nature, the human psyche, how people react. There's actions that people can't fake, and when this happened that night, I looked around. The look on people's faces there is something you can't act. You can't make chill bumps come up on the back of your neck on cue. You can't make the hair stand up. You can't lose your ability to speak for a few minutes on cue. Those are things that can't be faked, and that's what I saw that night.
I've always known that there was something more out there. I've come to realize that ghosts do exist too. We share our space with them. We don't know why they're here, but I do know that they are here.
This night that I experienced at the Majestic has really caused me to think a lot. Who's to say there's not an afterlife that you can't go to and interact with people if you choose to do so? Now, I think about that not often, and wonder, am I going to be able to visit my family somehow that won't give them a heart attack after I'm gone?